It's a well known fact and widely accepted truth that uncertainty rules human lives. Every individual experiences uncertainty in his life at one phase or another. There are a few lucky people who have relatively stable life, but many people go through extreme uncertainties in their lives. There are people who lead tempestuous lives. Swami Premananda was one such. Many people in the present generation may not be knowing Swami Premananda. For them, I will give a couple of lines as introduction. Swami Premananda was one of the most popular and one of the most respected saints, Hindu saints in Sri Lanka at a time. He had to flee to India in 1980s because of the ethnic strife between Sinhalese and Tamils. He came and settled in India. He became popular here also. But uncertainties followed him here also. Many allegations were raised against him. He was eventually imprisoned and he died a sad death. I had read about Swami Premananda in 90s in national dailies and English magazines. But the details about his life was known or became known to me by chance. I will tell you the story about how I came to know about the life of Swami Premananda, and it was told to me by a wandering saint. Welcome to Interface. This is Hari Kumar. I came to know the details about the life of Swami Premananda while I was searching for information about Prabhakara Siddhyogi, a wandering saint who lived in South India and who is considered to be an immortal by his devotees. During my search, once somebody told me there is a lady named Nimmi at Kottayam. She was running a business in Kottayam town. So somebody told me that she had first-hand information about Prabhakara Siddhyogi, and I went to see her. I called her up and fixed an appointment and I went there. She was running a business near Tirunakara temple in Kottayam. Tirunakara temple incidentally is situated in the heart of Kottayam city. Now, when I went to see her, one of my friends, Radhakrishnan Kutur, who is a journalist, was also with me. Then she said, there is another individual who has better knowledge about Prabhakara Siddhyogi, and he might be the right person to tell us about Prabhakara Siddhyogi. That was another holy man. He was living in a lodge near Tirunakara temple. I think that was a sojourn. Nimmi brought him to Kottayam, and he would be there for a few days. We were lucky that when we reached at Kottayam, the holy man was there. Along with Nimmi, we went to his room. He was a very old man in his early 90s. But he was healthy because in front of us he showed many yogasanas. Then Nimmi considered him as an Avadhootha, and she was fully devoted to the holy man. But we were just people who inquisitive, searching people, so we didn't show that much respect to him. Of course, he was wearing saffron robes, everything. Then he invited us, he ordered tea and other snacks for us. We sat down and I asked him questions about Prabhakara Siddhyogi. When I started asking questions about the supernormal powers of Prabhakara Siddhyogi, the nameless holy man, nameless, why I said nameless? I asked Nimi about his name. She said she didn't know the name. The man, the holy man, never told his name to anyone. I also asked him what his name was. The man said there was no use in telling me the name. He asked me if I could be sure if he told a name, how could I be sure that it was the name, it was his own name. He could just imagine a name and tell that was. So I agreed. What was the use of a name to me? An old holy man, that was it. So when I asked him about supernormal powers of Prabhakara Siddhiyogi, he said, don't concentrate your attention on supernormal powers of holy men. The supernormal powers, he said, are nothing. They are a different level of existence. So what is supernormal at one stage could be something common at another stage. What is surprising to some people may not be surprising to other people. So he said supernormal powers are nothing. They are certain skills that some people achieve. For example, you practice martial arts. You could be more skilled at some stage after continuous practice. Similarly, you became skilled in certain things when you practice self-control, when you practice meditation, and don't pay attention to them. Your aim should be to become enlightened. That is what he said. Then in between, that nameless holy man said, I had told Swami Premananda not to exhibit his supernormal skills, but that man didn't listen, and you know what happened to him. When the unknown person told me about Swami Premananda, it was as if we both of us knew Swami Premananda. I was in fact totally ignorant of Swami Premananda. I didn't know who was Premananda. Then I was a bit surprised, but I sat there as if I knew him very well. Then eventually I asked him about Swami Premananda. Then he told me many things about Swami Premananda. And later I checked the internet and I read books also. That was how I collected information about Swami Premananda. Swami Premananda's life was really a tempestuous life. You could not see many holy men who had such a rise and meteoric rise or fairy tale rise, and his entire fortunes nosedived also at another stage. Swami Premananda was born in a trading family in Sri Lanka. I don't know the exact name of how the name is pronounced. I think it is Matale, Matale. That is how it is spelled. So let's say it is northern Sri Lanka. He was born in 1951 in a comparatively well-off trading family. Right from his childhood, he started exhibiting supernormal skills. Sometimes his family members would be surprised to see him eating sweets which they had not prepared or not anybody had given to the boy. He had the power to materialize whatever he wished. It was not by practice, it was by innate ability. So, in his childhood, his family was a bit worried about what was happening to their child. But eventually, they realized that their son was a blessed person and they accepted it. And as he grew up, he started giving religious discourses. He was, incidentally, he was a Sri Lankan Tamil ethnicity. So he was a devotee of Lord Krishna. That was not common during those days among Tamils. A majority of Tamils were Shaivaites. They worshipped Lord Shiva, Lord Parvati, Muruga, etc. So Premananda, he was name was Prem Kumar in the childhood. Prem Kumar was a bit different. He was totally dedicated to the worship of Lord Krishna. He was a vegetarian also. And he was also called Ravi. Ravi means the sun, because he had a radiant face and he had a smiling face also. He was very pleasant in manners. And when he became a teenager, many people became his disciples. When he was around 17, it is said that he had an epiphany. He was delivering a discourse in the midst of a small crowd, and suddenly the crowd saw that his color changed. He was a dark colored person. Suddenly his color became Lord Krishna's color, that is sky blue. Everybody was surprised. He was wearing white clothes. The clothes suddenly become ochre or saffron. Now everybody was surprised. He said from then onwards he would be wearing saffron clothes. And later he accepted the name Premananda. He built an ashram. He visited foreign countries like United Kingdom, Switzerland, certain European countries. He visited Indonesia, Philippines, etc. also. Hundreds and thousands of people became his devotees. He became a rare phenomenon in Sri Lanka. Not many people like that. He had there were many who were jealous about the popularity of Swami Premananda. Then, in 1983, there was ethnic strife between Sri Lankan Tamils and Sinhalese people. A Sinhalese crowd attacked his 35-acre ashram complex at his hometown, completely gutted it, set the ashram on fire. Luckily, Swami Premananda escaped. And later, in the same year in 1983, he, along with some of his devotees, fled to India. Initially, he started an ashram at Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu. Then he shifted to Pune in Maharashtra. He became very famous in India also. Swami Premananda, he was, as I said, was an ardent devotee of Lord Krishna. There were bhajans, and he used to go into a trance, and during the trance he would shout Krishna, Krishna, like that. So many people said he had the or believed that he had the power to cure diseases. There are people who testify that, and he had the power of manifesting each and everything. Incidentally, I forgot to tell you one thing. During his childhood, he was called Kuti Sai Baba because he had a hair similar to Satya Sai Baba, and he used to perform miracles similar to what Satya Sai Baba did. So he was called Kuti, means little Sai Baba, by Tamil people in Sri Lanka. Then he had another power to teleport himself from one place to another. He could be seen simultaneously at different places. He had many yogic powers. And perhaps that was what the unknown saint told me. The unknown saint told me at Kottayam that a week before Swami Premananda was arrested by Maharashtra police, this unknown saint had gone to his ashram and warned him about impending dangers. But the unknown Swami told me that Swami Premananda didn't pay heed to his advice. So he used to exhibit his supernormal powers. Perhaps that was what created enemies to him. In around 1994, there was some trouble in his ashram. One girl named Arul Jodi came out of the ashram. She claimed that she escaped from the ashram. She was supported by All India Democratic Women's Association, which is an organization affiliated to CPIM, Communist Party of India, Marxist. And the girl alleged that Swami Premananda raped her and she became pregnant and he forced her to abort. That was what the girl alleged. The police recovered a fetus from the premises of the ashram also. And by that time, there was another allegation that Swami Premananda had killed one of his devotees named Ravi. So then he was arrested and he was put in jail. The fetus which was recovered was sent for medical test, and in the DNA test, it was found that the DNA of the fetus matched the fetus of Swami Premananda. So the case against him was established, and the court sentenced him for double life imprisonment. The court also fined him around rupees 70 lakh, and that was to be distributed to the victims of his atrocities. But his devotees vehemently denied the findings. They said those were manipulated. Though leading lawyers like Ramjit Malani appeared for on behalf of Swami Premananda, he couldn't establish the innocence of Swami Premananda. But later, the fetus was there when doubts were raised about the DNA test conducted in India. The fetus was sent to UK, where it was found that the DNA didn't match that of Swami Premananda. And very intriguingly, a few years later, the girl Arul Jyoti, who raised the allegation that Swami had raped her, gave a totally different testimony in a court. She said she was forced and tortured, and that was why she testified against Swami Premananda. So, but all those later findings didn't help Swami Premananda, and he was put in jail. I think the lower court sentenced him, gave him double lifer. Then the upper courts also justified that. Then he was in jail. Later, for a couple of months, he was given parole. But by that time, his health had deteriorated. And I think it was in 2011, he passed away. That is the sad story of Swami Premananda. And even after his death, he is still very popular in Sri Lanka. And I have read that many meetings, memorial meetings held in Sri Lanka were attended by leading personalities, including ministers in Sri Lanka, judges, other luminaries, and even politicians or judges and other luminaries from Western world came and attended the meetings. His devotees believe that all those cases charged or allegations raised against Swami Premananda were totally fabricated with ulterior motives. But Indian courts had approved all the allegations, and that is the sad story. We don't know what's the truth. Courts give verdicts based on evidence. May not be essentially, the evidences may not essentially reflect the truth. So we don't know what really happened to him. But the story of Swami Premananda is really a shocking and a sad story. And what amazed me that was why the wandering saint told me about Swami Premananda. It was the first time that we met. When the wandering saint told me about Swami Premananda, I never asked him about Swami Premananda. He told me as if we knew Swami Premananda very personally. I have not known him. I don't know whether I knew Swami Premananda in my previous births or something like that. I don't know about it. But that still remains an enigma to me. That still remains a mystery. One fact could be Swami Premananda was told by many people not to exhibit his supernormal powers. But he exhibited those powers. And I think he thought that That was not wrong. Swami Premananda, he worked among the public also. He built many uh, orphanages. He took care of old people and youngsters. He wanted to. He one of he his path was a threefold path. Number one, he wished that every individual in the society got good food, good shelter, and then one needs to instill self confidence in them. Then afterwards, you make them enlightened, spiritually enlightened. That was his policy. He wanted to create good living conditions for the poor people also. He took care of many orphans. He had many children. He raised many children in his orphanages and ashram. So he did much humanitarian work, nobody can deny that. But he had such an unfortunate ending. This is the sad thing. Anyway, his story proves that life is full of uncertainty. Whether you are a monk, whether you are a holy man, whether if you are in the human form, you have to go through trials and tribulations in life. Look at the life of Lord Krishna also. Lord Krishna also suffered many things and he died of an arrow of a hunter. So that was the life and message of Swami Premananda. Meet you with another interesting story next time. Till then, goodbye.